something is working here. As I mentioned for day 2, like things are heating up, and here it is. Things are really heating up, and I wasn't even consciously aware of it until now.
Trying to mind my business. I never understood mixing time with business. I rhyme with swiftness, heroic quickness. Try to figure out what a nigga's gift is. For all I know, I could be good at this. And if not, I'll work at it until my shit pops like a soda can on a summer day. But ain't no summer games, I ain't come to play.
Hey, disclaimer. I don't think that anybody that is just starting their spiritual journey and that's watching this video should say, hey, I should go on Etsy and buy these things. I think that you should continue to develop your mental, your third eye, and meditate. And I think that meditating will do you well. I know that also using binaural beats is a great way to achieve certain things. Like anytime I have some sort of ailment, I turn on a binaural beat for it, and usually wake up feeling refreshed of some sort, meditate, you know, and just kind of repeat along with making sure that I'm watching what I put in my body. But I want to go ahead and make that disclaimer for you guys, and that way you guys cannot say that, hey, I told you guys going to do this because it'll do this for you and it'll make you do that. These statements, let's just put a big may, so I don't have the government and the FDA coming after me for what I tell you to put in your body, because it's already been quite an interesting period of time with me telling people make sure you have your vitamins and nutrients before you run to external sources. So anyways, that's beside the point, but it correlates very much well, right? These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. This product is not intended for the use by those with serious medical condition or pregnant or lactating women. Consult your physician first. We're gonna let this sit for a little bit. Go ahead, drink this. Then go lay it down, and then I'm gonna go to another round.
Ooh, this is stronger than mugwort.
Let me go ahead and finish this. So this is just a quick check-in. Yesterday was my first night using the Leaf of God, and as I laid down, my body began to feel even more warm, but it was my entire body. I went to sleep pretty fast. When I woke up, I actually felt more present in my body than I have felt pretty much through, for the past month or so. Now the dream that I had, it was a pretty simple dream. It was more so like I had a journaling kind of business, newspapers or articles and stuff of that nature. And I wanted to like monopolize off of it, but not monopolize in a negative term, but pretty much where I created different outlets for different sources of news, but it was closer in accuracy rather than all of this, all of these censored stations that we have, all of these censored media outlets that we have, you know, where all the truth that you get is only a fragment, and it's a perspective, or like I said, a fragment of the truth. It usually fits into people's regular paradigms rather than exposing what's really going on. So there was a lot more details, but when I woke up, I feel like I slept through the entire night, but I know that I didn't. So what I'm sharing with you is what I remember from whenever I experienced a dream. And I may have continued this specific dream. Don't know, can't give too much details. But yeah, so I'm literally getting ready to set this up. Again, I do want to say I think the most important takeaway from this, although from last night's experience, was, as I mentioned, waking up feeling more present in my body. Not that I've necessarily been floating around, but you know, life doesn't always go as we plan for it to, and there are things that we don't take into account when we make certain decisions. And I'm living with no regrets. That's the best thing. But I'm also living in the present without much of a sense of direction, which can be dangerous if not handled properly. You know what I mean? Third day using the leaf of God, third night, might I say. And last night's dream was pretty interesting. You know, I almost omitted this submission from my journal just because I don't want to get too personal or whatnot, or put any, you know, I don't know. I think part of documenting is being open and whatnot, you know, but I'm not even really on social media all that much, you know, so at least at the moment, I'm just kind of taking a mental health break and whatnot. Yeah, so what happened in that dream, it was all sorts of stuff. There was marriage, there was pregnancies, or pregnancy, there was family approval, disapproval, and stuff of that nature, and traveling, just pretty much everything I foresee for my future, you know what I mean? But like, my partner and I, she was pregnant, and I don't know if we were trying to get married to be married before the baby came, or if it happened as like, I don't really remember like the timeline of all the stuff, but Mexico, so like the wedding was in Mexico, and that was like the way that this version of Mexico looked, it looked like San Francisco, but it also looked like a downtown San Diego kind of vibe. And then like the wedding was on the very edge of a cliff somewhere in Mexico that had a view of the water, something like Sunset Cliffs. And you had family that approved of the wedding, you know, and then you had other family that didn't, because they just felt like the timeline of everything just wasn't according to their liking. Then like when the child was being delivered, it was a girl. So when my daughter was being delivered, it was in a hospital room in Mexico. That was super basic, you know what I mean? But was definitely fortunate, and for some reason it kind of, I don't know, I was like,
when I was here not too long ago, it didn't have this, and this, and this.
So whatever the case was, but I wish I could literally take my dreams and put them in a video format. And I know my mom and I, we were just talking about this because she had an interesting dream quite some time back. But yeah, I'm just like, you know, dreams are heating up, you know. Now, mind you, let's see. Oh, it doesn't have it written on here where it says what exactly is for prophetic dreaming, lucid dreaming, astral projecting, or whatever the case was. But, you know, that's definitely not prophetic dreaming. Or maybe it is. But, you know, I know that visions, dreams, deja vu, stuff of that nature, they can all be used to, like, you see the vision and then you align with whatever you want to align with, and then you pretty much disregard whatever you don't want to, or you can change whatever it is that you're seeing, whatever it is that you're feeling. So yeah, that's definitely how that's gonna go, because don't want kids out of wedlock. And not like that's like their disappointment or anything like that. It just means better judgment on my behalf regarding the relationship I'm in when that time comes. And just making sure that handling business before pleasure, first and foremost, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm getting ready to scoop my teaspoon and some change into this bag right here, and go on and pour this water in here, call it a night. So day 3 of my hallucinogenic herbs that I've been taking in the form of tea. Last night I had a dream. It was like I was at a science convention, and you know, some familiar faces like Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and them, they were there. A bunch of other people that I knew, they were there. Wow. Okay, so this ties in with my point, right? So I go to this science convention, and there's all sorts of stuff, a bunch of cool gadgets like consciousness and, you know, things to help the planet, and pretty much to help advance our experience on this plane, right, in this dimension, on this planet. And I forgot what exactly my experiment was and whatnot, but push come to shove, and I know this is all over the place, but I found out I was a vampire. And how that correlates, you know, how maybe that's just a reflection of me not really sleeping all that much, you know, and me being a night owl, because it's literally 3 o'clock, just getting off of work once again. But literally I like had like an issue with my tooth, right? I'm standing up at this point. So I had like this issue with my tooth. I go to pull my tooth out. My tooth, like, including the stem that comes, you know, that's like in my cranium, literally was like this long, and I literally pulled it out and it was just all black, and I'm like, what the, like,
Said I'm a vampire and I didn't even know.
you know what I mean? So that was one thing. I know this is all over the place. I know this log is all over the place, but mind you, oh, it's in my pocket. So this convention that I went to, right? This convention that I went to just had all sorts of stuff in there. And then today, like in real life, while I was out driving and whatnot, I seen this one building and it caught my attention. Like, in the mirrors that were on the side of it, caught my attention.
And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what is this? Like, I've never seen this before. Like, what is this place?
So I literally busted a U-turn, and I ended up spending like less than an hour there, about 40 minutes or something like that. And I just kind of went on a tour. This place is called the Calea Academy of Science. I go in there and I talk to the lady that's in there, and she's like, yeah, you know, like, I can give you a tour, you know, and I'm kind of sorry. Like, we literally just had like a science convention here. We literally just had like a science convention here.
We kind of like all gathered around talking about like past life therapies and stuff of that nature, and you know, how exactly we can transcend in this plane to another plane. That way we are closer to our true purpose and fulfilling the purpose of love and servitude here as human beings.
You know, and she like tells me about like this, the intergalactic planetary federation. That's not exactly what it's called, but how there's like 33 different planets, of course, all on different dimensions and whatnot, or, you know, some are on the same dimension and stuff of that nature. But how like not America, how planet Earth is literally like an outcast, kind of, sort of. Like, what happens is, you know, people come to planet Earth to learn whatever lessons it is that they need to learn, and then they ascend. But if not, they return. And so she kind of tells me about like the people that founded the Calea Academy of Science, and how they were like super clairvoyant and stuff of that nature, and how they were able to channel people like Leonardo da Vinci and Buddha and Jesus and, you know, all those other people who were ascended masters and stuff like that. So to kind of have this dream that ended up being fulfilled in real life, and then I'm now just putting it together. And I, mind you, like, I wrote these notes down in my phone, but I kind of just went on about my day, and now here it is that I'm reflecting on my day, and I'm reflecting on my dream, and here it is. You know, you guys can't really see it, but and this is, what exactly is this? The Crystal Mountain Cities. So literally the back of this bookmark says the Crystal Mountain Cities is a journey to the celestial world brought into view through the magic of video. Many attempts have been made to describe the life lived by adepts, masters, and archangels on the higher dimensional planes of life. In this video, Uriel, who is one of the founders of Unarius, leads us through the 7 teaching centers on the Crystal Mountain Cities, showing us the schools of spiritual life that teach aspiring humankind the principles of spiritual evolution and the reality of life lived on these inner planes. Wow. So something is working here. Something is working here. As I mentioned, for day 2, like, things are heating up, and here it is. Things are really heating up, and I wasn't even consciously aware of it until now that I'm logging this at, we'll say, 3:12 in the morning. So I actually went over my notes, and I just wanted to see if I kind of tapped in on everything that I, you know, had wrote down this morning. And one thing or a couple of things that are kind of also important to kind of touch on is that so one of the events was a dog that was able to speak. I guess this was like Scooby-Doo in my dream kind of like version, but this dog understood the scientific method. This dog understood how consciousness worked and stuff of that nature. And then like in the audience, I noticed there was like a bunch of people from the bar that I work at, that I do security at, and it was kind of like, you know, like they're in this environment where they're able to learn, they're able to grow, but they're just doing whatever they do, you know. Like whenever I'm in the bar, sometimes I'm just watching, I'm like, ugh, that person kissed that person, but that person just kissed that person, and that person just kissed this person, and I'm like, ugh, they just swapping drinks and sharing drinks and stuff of that nature. I'm just like, the party is going on, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like what was going on. Like everything that we need to learn to grow in this dimension on this plane is literally like in arm's reach. We can manifest it. We can literally think about whatever it is that we feel like we need in order for us to grow. And if we truly believe that, you know, we'll literally be aligned with that stuff. Like the universe puts you in position to attract anything and everything that you want, as long as you like truly desire that. So it's like, here it is, that we're in this environment where we can grow, love one another. And when I say love one another, I don't mean like that kind of love, but love one another. And it's like people just doing whatever they want to do. They not, you know, it is what it is. Like they're living in their own party realm, you know, but it's kind of detaching them from the bigger purpose of what we're really here for. Now, that's not me judging anybody. These were just familiar faces to fill these gaps in my dream. But I think that that can be said about anybody, and even myself. Sometimes I slip up, and sometimes, you know, I don't. You know, sometimes it's easy to just not do the stuff that's great for you. You know what I mean? Like meditation, or having a consistent routine, having a consistent diet and stuff of that nature. Like sometimes it's just easy to bullshit. You know what I mean? Like it's easy for you to just do everything else. You know what I mean? Except what's great for you. So, like I said, I'm not judging. I'm not projecting. This was just a realization, and this dream that I had, you know, that ended up manifesting into how my day turned out. Part of how my day turned out, you know, it opened my eyes. So I'm going to continue being open-minded and just moving forward with this.